Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Hope you're having a happy new year so far and that your year's starting off good. I'm a little late in posting this. I wanted to post this closer to the beginning of the year as the video is about how to have a happy new year. However, I'm hoping that this advice will, basically carry you through years on end. So it doesn't have to be just this year, just for the rest of your life. I think this is so good that it's going to help you from this day moving forward. So every year will be a happy new year. So a lot of times we say new year, new me, but it's the same year and the same you and nothing really changes. So I figure I wonder why change doesn't happen. I wonder why New Year's resolutions usually get broken after 2 or 3 months. And it really is because your mentality hasn't changed, like your thinking hasn't changed. So if those things are still the same, then it's going to be impossible to really be a new you if you're thinking, in an old way. So this video is to give tips on how you can have a happy new year, how you can be a better you, and really, like I said, not even just a happy new year, but a happy new life. That's my goal. So I have 10 tips. They're not in any particular order, but did just want to kind of label them steps 1 through 10. But again, all of them are relevant. They're all tied together some way. So hopefully this will help. It helps me, and I hope it'll help you too. So let's go ahead and get started. Tip number 1 is to listen more. Like, I know a lot of people don't really want to hear from friends or family that may be in their ear, getting on them about certain things. But let's face it, if different people are telling you the same thing, maybe it's time to listen. Maybe everybody's not wrong. I mean, just a thought, they could be, but if everybody's like, hey, you need to do this different, or maybe you should try this, maybe you should listen. People tend to experience things in life, you know what I'm saying? We all have been through certain things. So if somebody has been through a situation similar to you or have been through what you're going through, why not listen to them? Why not take that advice? At least try it, at least maybe learn from some of the mistakes that they made along the way. So I feel like a lot of us are resistant to listening and applying the things that we're hearing, even though it can be beneficial for us. So I really feel like, if there's somebody in your circle or around you, or someone that you're familiar with that, is more experienced than you, that's wiser than you, somebody that's just really been through the grind, that's been through hell and back, somebody who's been through some things in their life and they are now in a more positive place, they're doing better, they've grown from those experiences. Those are the type of people you want in your circle. Those are the people that you want around you that can help encourage you and take you to your next level. So that's tip number 1. Listen more, because you don't know everything. None of us know everything. So listen more this new year and going forward. Number 2, stop trying to find flaws and imperfections in other people or their relationships. They good. Like, leave everybody else alone. Worry about you. Like, a lot of times I'm on social media and I'm reading through the comments and people just like finding any reason to hate. So say, for instance, somebody get proposed to and it's like, oh, well, look at how he did that proposal. That proposal was whack. Or that ring, look at that little diamond. And it's like, dog, like, can they be happy? Can you be like, congratulations, and keep it going? Like, why find the flaw in everything? Oh, they ain't really happy, yo. He was just with so-and-so 2 months ago, or she was just with so-and-so. Like, I feel like it's too much hate going on. Instead of celebrating people, like, we're constantly judging, constantly looking for the flaws, looking for imperfections, looking for something to make you feel better. So it's like, all right, well, they cannot possibly be that good. So basically, it gives you some type of sense of well-being because somebody else is doing bad. Take the time to just, you know what? Congratulations. I'm happy for you. I hope this works out for you. So whether somebody, whether it's their relationship, whether they maybe got a promotion, they got a new house, new car, like, be happy for them. Be genuinely happy for the next person. And, if their life don't work out or whatever the case may be, then so be it, But in that moment, let them have that. Like, I feel like you would be a happier person if you can be happy for somebody else. So that's tip number 2. Number 3, and this ties into tip number 2, focus on you. Focus on what can you be doing better. What is it that you can do better in your life? take responsibility for where you are or where you're not in life. Basically, where you are right now is a direct result of your decisions, decisions that you've made. Right now, what you're doing right now in this moment, whether it's a job or a relationship or whatever, is based on a decision that you made. Like, a lot of times we like to point the finger at other people or other situations, but we never step up to the plate and be like, you know what? I screwed up. I messed up. I shouldn't have done that. I could have done something different in this situation. But when you don't take responsibility for your actions, it's hard to make a change because you're focused on, well, everybody else did this. People did this to me. So because they did this to me, I'm a victim and I don't have the ability to change it. Whereas if you take responsibility, like, you know what? Like, yo, I know I shouldn't have got up at 5 o'clock and I got to be to work at 6 o'clock and I live 40 minutes away. And I'm speaking to myself. Mind you, like, I'm not trying to come off harsh in this video, but I'm speaking from experience. And I'm speaking to myself because I've experienced all of these things at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? I used to be a hater. I used to be unhappy. I never wanted to listen. As the example I'm about to give, I'm not a punctual person. I know my friends listening like, she's not. And I'm working on it. I'm improving on it. But, okay, for instance, I need to be to work by a certain time, but I don't allow myself enough time. And in the past, I used to get mad like, oh, the traffic, oh, I had to deal with the baby, oh, I had to scrape ice off the truck, like anything. Like, I make any excuse instead of owning up to, like, you know what, if I had allowed myself an extra hour in the morning, I wouldn't be late, I wouldn't be rushing, I wouldn't be stressed, I wouldn't be mad. So it's like taking that control back and taking that power back to be like, you know what, I can control some of these things that are going on in my life. I don't have to just sit there and let life pour on me. I can actually dictate how some of these things go. Now, don't get it twisted. There are things in life that happen that cannot be prevented, but there are also things that you can prevent, and those are the things that I want you to focus on. Like, focus on you and what can you do? What are the things in your life that you're responsible for? If it's a relationship, you choose to be in that relationship. You could have chosen not to, especially if there were signs or red flags and you still decided to pursue it, then that's you. So it's not like, oh, well, I'm not sure why, this person is this way, why they're doing these things. But like, they did those things before you got in a relationship, before you got married. And again, I'm speaking to myself. I've been in relationships where before I even got to a stage of commitment, they were already showing me flags, red flags, or showing me signs, or whatever the case may be, but I choose to ignore it. So because I chose to ignore it, I got hurt, I got frustrated, I got betrayed, I got rejected, or whatever the case. But I choose to still deal with someone knowing that they were not probably the person for me. All right, so that was tip number 3. Focus on you and what you need to do for yourself to become a better you, and not on what other people got going on. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, create a vision board. If you're not familiar with that, or if you haven't done one before, basically you would get a piece of a poster board. You can get the half size or you can get the full size, and you get magazines. And basically what you're doing is just creating a vision for your future, your dreams, your goals, your hobbies, just basically a board that is a representation of where your life is currently and where you want it to be future forward. And it's something you can either do by yourself, you can do it in a group. It's a lot of fun if you do it in a group, and of course if you do it with a little some of this, that always make the party pop. So, but anywho, I think a vision board is a really good idea, because it's important to write down your goals and your dreams, and to actually create a format where you can see it every day. After you create it, you want to post it somewhere in your home where you can see it every day, where you can remind yourself of the things that you want to accomplish. Because it's one thing to say it and to think it, those things are easily forgotten. But once you actually put it down on paper and you can actually visualize it, then that will be the motivation to get it done and to keep pushing and, give you something to aspire for. So I strongly encourage vision boards. Even if you don't complete everything, it still just keeps you pushing forward. And you can always carry your vision into the next year and the following year. Some people have even done like a 5-year vision board, like where they see themselves in 5 years. So you can do it short term or long term. Either way, it's effective, and I would highly recommend that. And tip number 5 goes into tip number 4. They kind of go hand in hand. Tip number 5 is set realistic, measurable short-term and long-term goals. So you want to really set goals that are measurable. Like, don't just be like, I want to lose 100 pounds, but you don't have a game plan. Like, you want to be like, all right, overall, like in the next 3-4 years, I want to lose 100 pounds, or however long it's realistic for that. But you want to lose 5 pounds a month, or you want to set a realistic time frame, because what will happen if you over promise or over commit to something, it basically makes it feel unobtainable, and then you lose hope, and then you just kind of like forget about it. It doesn't seem like I can achieve it. It's something where you can actually set little small goals to obtain a big goal. And the same, whether it's eating a certain way, like if you want to cut certain things out your diet, you may not want to do everything all at once. Like if you want to try vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, whatever, like, all right, well, the first month I'm going to cut this out. Second month, I'm going to cut that out. Third month, and just kind of work your way to it. Because a lot of times, what I find for me personally is when I do things too drastically, I tend to fail. It's like I'll get started fast and I'll be doing good, but then like after a month, I'm done with it. And I feel like it's because I don't have like a good plan in place. It's just like you gung-ho about something because you hear something or you see something. It's like, oh man, like I'm on it, I'm going to do it. But then when it comes time to keep that commitment going, you lose your steam. And I feel like because sometimes you bite off more than you can chew. So that way, if you set like just small, realistic, step-by-step goals, it makes it easy to keep moving forward. It makes it easy to obtain those things. So that's tip number 5. Set realistic, measurable, short and long-term goals. Number 6, stop wishing and start doing. How many times have we seen people, do different things like, oh man, like I wish I could play basketball. I wish I could sing. I wish I could rap. Whatever the case may be, we all have a wish list, things that we would like to do, but we don't. And we just sit back and watch other people do it and just wish we could. So, I feel like you have to find the motivation to do these things yourself. And it's like we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Now we do have access to different resources. I know we all don't have the same resources, but you have to use what you have. You listen to most people that are currently successful, Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, they all were homeless at one point. They all struggled. They all were rejected initially, and then they just kept pounding the pavement. They just kept pushing, kept pursuing their dream, and you see where they are now. They're both mega successful, and they're not the only 2 people, but just the first 2 that popped in my head. And a lot of people that are very successful have similar stories like that. So, don't just let life pass you by and sit wishing your life away. Like, get started. Do something towards the thing that you're aspiring to. So that would be tip number 6. Stop wishing, start doing. Every little step helps. Don't despise the day of small beginnings, because big success start with little successes. Number 7, use the talents and the gifts that God has given you. And all of these are tying in. You'll see they all kind of go hand in hand. They're all tied together somehow. But turn your talent into, your bag, your coins, your payroll. Like, we're all talented and gifted in something. And, I may not be the best singer. I may not be the best cooker or whatever, but I have other skills and other attributes that are, that I do have that are positive, that are good, things that I can build on. So what you want to do, the things that you do exceed in, the things you are good at, no matter how small you think they are, work on those things, perfect those things, So if you have the ability to write real well, then maybe you should start writing a book. Maybe you should write a song, be a songwriter for someone. If you cook well, maybe you should open your own restaurant. Maybe you should be a personal chef for somebody. If you work out well, maybe you should be a personal trainer. Just whatever your talent and your gift is, work on that, perfect that gift, and do things, invest in yourself. If you need to take classes. Like for me, I want to be an actress. You know, that's something I've always wanted to do, but it's like, it seems like such a lofty goal. I'm like, I don't even know where to start, but I'm like, okay, I can just take an acting class. Then I do take an acting class, like, okay, maybe I can go on an audition, you know. So it's just like little steps at a time again, you know. So you want to use whatever talents and gifts that God has given you to make your dreams come true. All right, so that's tip number 7. Tip number 8, you want to surround yourself with people that are more wise, people that are, you know, more successful, people that are more intelligent. You basically want to surround yourself with people that cause you to rise higher, people that push you to your next level, because a lot of times we tend to be around people that we're comfortable with. And when you're comfortable, you're not really moving. You get stagnant because, you know, you just get complacent. So you have to be around people that cause you to strive for more, people that cause you to push and to just really bring you out of your comfort zone. And I know these things are easier said than done, but you know, if you take a look at the people in your circle and the people around you, look at what they're doing and look at how y'all all have certain things in common. Y'all all are kind of at that same level. So how do you ever get to the next level if everybody that you surround yourself with on that same page? There's nothing wrong with maintaining the friendships and the family that you have, but it's also nothing wrong with expanding your circle and including people that can cause you to go to the next level. So you want to be intentional about who you're with, because a lot of times we get so comfortable with our circle, we grow complacent, and you're not moving, you're not gaining any momentum, and you're just stagnant, and you know that leads to unhappiness. So, you know, again, just to reiterate, this is about having a happy new year, really being a new year, new me type of flow. So in order to do that, sometimes you have to do things different to get different results, and that may include changing your circle. You know, it's always said, I don't know exactly who said it, and I ain't trying to steal it, but they like, look at the 5 people that you hang with the most, and that's an indication of where you are in life, or, you know, where you're going in life type of thing. So you want to look at your circle, examine your circle, and, you know, modify it however you see fit. And of course, you can also be that influence for someone else as well. All right, so that's tip number 8. Surround yourself, you know, with people that can help you to get to your next level. Tip number 9, don't take your old mindset into the new year. Change starts with the way that you think. So a lot of times we don't see different results because we're still in the same mindset, still have the same mentality, we're still thinking the same way that we used to think. So like, perfect example, you know, people who mismanage money, even if they were to hit the lottery or, you know, come into a large lump sum of money, a lot of times those people end up going broke because why? They didn't change the way that they spent their money. They didn't change the way that they viewed money. So when they have a lot of money, they just basically spend it the same way. You know, they just have a lot more to spend, but they still end up losing that money because they're still doing things the same way that they did before they got it. So in order to make any type of real change, you have to change the way that you think about it. So another example, if you want to change your lifestyle, like say eating, for example, for me, currently I'm pescatarian. You know, I did a previous video about being vegan, and I kind of played around with vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, what have you, and I've kind of stuck to pescatarian. That's been working well. But what I had to do is give myself the why, like, why am I doing this? What's my reason behind this change, you know? Because if I didn't have a reason, then I would just go back to my old way of eating. But I'm like, okay, I want to eat this way because I believe just eating mindlessly, you know, eating, you know, different types of meats or what have you could be detrimental to my health. I believe that those things could cause my health to not be good. So that's the thought that I keep in my mind and keeps me staying pescatarian, because I changed the way I thought about food, you know, and I try to look at food as, you know, fuel for my body and not just something that I do, you know, to celebrate or, you know, just something I do as comfort. And that's not to say I don't do those things. You know, let's be clear. I do still do those things, but you do it in a different capacity. You do it with boundaries in mind. And, you know, you're really just intentional about the way that you move. So again, number 9, don't take your old mindset into the new year. You want to change the way that you think about things, and you want to renew your mind, and that will help you have a different outcome and result in more success in your life, I believe, as well. And also, step number 10 or tip number 10, you have to change your actions. So not only do you change the way you think, you change the way that you act, you change the way that you move. So if you want to be successful, if you want to do better, if you want to make these positive changes in your life, then you have to act differently. You can't have the same bad attitude and expect positive results. And I'm not just saying, you know, bad attitude is the only thing. It could be anything, but your actions dictate the results that you see. So whatever you're doing is going to result in something. So you have to be intentional about what your actions result in. You can't just move recklessly and not expect to get a negative result. So you have to change the way that you do things if you want to see a difference going into this new year and every year. So I hope this video has been helpful. Like I said, again, these are things that have helped me over the years, and I hope they help you as well. As always, any comments, questions, suggestions, whatever, please drop a comment, like the video, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. All right, I'll catch y'all next time.